Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. Goldbelly ships Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garden's famous cakes. So, if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT. That's goldbelly.com, promo code GIFT.
Welcome to Seeing with Your Soul, the podcast aimed to inspire you to find your voice and become the best, truest, and most authentic version of yourself. Spiritually intimate, soul-to-soul conversations, life-changing insights, and spiritual teaching and healing. Real, raw, unfiltered. Join your host, Tisha Michelle.
Welcome back to another episode of Seeing with Your Soul, a safe space for you to feel seen, heard, and receive permission to just simply be yourself. With me, Tisha Michelle, your host. Hey guys, what's up? All right, let's dive into some gratitude. I would definitely have to say that in this present moment, I am grateful for all the beautiful souls that I have met thus far on my journey. And I met some people. At the time of this recording, my birthday is coming up and I will be 42. And I can say I've just met some amazing people. And within the last 4 years, the type of people that I have been connecting with is just so elevated. And I've been a part of, some in-person conversations and virtual conversations that just left me saying, wow, that was such an elevated conversation. And I noticed what it is I started doing this work. I started doing this inner work and understanding more of myself and having this deeper level of conscious awareness. And the people that I've been attracting have been on that elevated level. And that's really because I needed to get to this certain place so I can start attracting different people, around me. So I'm just sitting in a lot of gratitude right now for the beautiful souls that I have come in contact with. And some of you guys, which you are my listeners, y'all still haven't even 100% stepped into the power that you have and the powerful being that you are. Like, you haven't even fully embraced that. And that makes me even more excited because some of you that I've been connecting with, I can feel that energy and I can see it. And some of you probably heard me if you've done a reading with me and be like, I wish you could see what I see. and all, you wouldn't doubt yourself like that because you're fucking dope. You're amazing. So anyway, just again, to say all that to say, I'm just really grateful for just the people that I've been, connecting with. I love it. All right. So now it's your turn. But before expressing your gratitude, I just want you to get grounded. And we're just going to do that by taking 3 intentional deep breaths. All right. Wiggle yourself out right now. And then what I want you to do is I want you to breathe in through your nose and just let it out through your mouth. Now, again, just take another nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose and let it out through your mouth. One more. Another nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose and letting it out through your mouth. Yes, 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 and yes. All right, what are you grateful for? Express that gratitude. Scream it. Say it in your head. Put me on pause and write it down. Just bask in that gratitude. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. All right, guys. So I had the pleasure of chatting with another holistic healer, Jhaynane Sung. So she has her master's in nutrition. She's a certified Reiki practitioner and also a breathwork instructor. And she helps women heal past traumas as well as reconnect to their authentic selves. And she does that through breathwork, through Reiki, and just through mindfulness. Her belief is that our wellness should encompass mind, body, and spirit while reconnecting us to our true divine essence. And this was such a meaningful conversation, and I could just relate so well with her. I know you guys are going to enjoy this conversation, and we actually made it a 2-part. So this is part 1. Enjoy the conversation. All right. So the only question that I ask everybody that's the same is in this present moment, what would you say that you're grateful for?
I am grateful for my husband for being able to allow me to follow my passions and taking care of our daughter while it happens. And a lot of people are going to say, yeah, that's his job. But you'll be surprised to how many people don't have such luxuries, because right now I'm working, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm not bringing in the money and he is. So I'm really grateful for him right now.
I love that. So was there something in particular that triggered that for you to even feel grateful for? Like, did something happen for you to be like, wow, I'm really grateful for this? Or like,
I'll be honest that we got married really fast and we had the baby really fast. And the transition into parenthood was not an easy one. So seeing his growth, especially today when I'm like, hold up, I'm about to go podcast. I don't have time to do this for you, is very touching because it was hard. It was hard, especially for somebody who was not used to taking care of somebody, AKA him. I'm a woman. They forced me to take care of people. So just seeing that transition of him just stepping up for me makes me feel protected and feel a lot of love.
I think that's so beautiful though. And I think that it is important because people could be like, oh, well, that's your job. That's your job. Well, we needed to stop with that first of all. But just because something is air quotes, someone's job doesn't mean that they're going to do it. It doesn't mean that they're going to. Being with someone that's an entrepreneur, it's tough on us. So it's tough on partners and stuff too, because they might not get it. Shit, we don't get it.
Yeah.
We still trying to figure it out. It's a little different if you got a structure and you go to work and you're getting this and that. But as an entrepreneur, like you're still trying to find out who you are as an entrepreneur. And especially if you're in like the holistic standpoint, anything of there, we still trying to find our voice. We still trying to, deal with a lot of different things. So, that's tough itself. But to have a partner and someone that's, playing like their supportive role in your journey, I think that's amazing. So I appreciate you giving out gratitude to him. So, okay. Hey, hubby, like shout out. Okay. So, well, thank you for being here too.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's a great honor.
Oh, my pleasure. So when I came across and seen like the different things that, we could talk about and your topics and stuff, this one was a big one for me, which is the mother wound, because I have both. Like I have both the mother wound and the father wound. So I did an episode on here, a solo episode on the father wound. And that was cool. I was able to just like flow on it. And then people were hitting me up and they were like, this was so good. And they was like, well, when's the mother wound? And I was like, wait, I was resisting so much because like my dad passed away. So that was a lot easier. And he was only in my life for a short period of time before he died. So, for me to be able to express those things and that stuff, it was easy. But like when your parent is still alive, it's still that uncomfortableness. So I was just like, I ain't gonna lie, I was avoiding it. And then someone else like reached out to me and her thing is like the mother wound. I was like, I'm about to cheat real quick. I'm gonna have somebody else come on and talk about the mother wound because I wasn't ready for that. And I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with, putting that out there. I'm like, look, let me bring in somebody else to really like talk about that. So then when I seen like with you and then the connection and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, okay, spirit, I hear you. You about to go a little deeper again with this mother wound. Like, okay. So I was really, excited to really, just hear like your perspective, because I'm always open to other people's perspective and you can always pull something from, everything that, or something that everyone says that can like help you on this journey. Because to me, Lord knows we need a lot of guidance and stuff through here trying to figure all this stuff out. So I definitely want to start with, where did that come from for you to just feel like, being really like in alignment with talking about like the mother wound? Like, if you don't mind sharing like maybe that your story with that.
Yeah, I think you and I have similar experiences where for me, I do have a father wound as well, but my father's still alive, but he was in and out. So it's easier for me to talk about that. When it comes to my mom, that runs deep. That runs are very, very deep. And to be honest, like I'm still not fully healed from it, but I'm doing strides to pursue that healing. And my family's from Haiti. So being emotionally available was not a thing. Like, I never heard I loved you. I never got the hugs, none of that. Because my mom, she stepped into her masculine energy because when my dad left, she had to be the provider. She had to make sure her kids were okay. And so that led to her thinking that the way that she showed love was by providing for us and giving us money, putting us into a private school, making sure that, we're dressed nicely. But what she lacked was the emotional component because I needed a mom. I had to parent myself at a very young age. And when we talk about it in my family, they're like, oh, yeah, Jhaynane's so independent. She learned how to cook at 7. I'm like, but why is that? Why is that normalized? It's because you couldn't do that for me. And so as I became a mother myself, that really aggravated the wound because I was trying to be the complete opposite of my mother. My mom was very spiritual. So I rejected that side of me for a very, very, very long time until spirit was like, girl, it's time to wake up. We go meditate, talk to us. We got you. But when I became a mom, I wanted to be super mom. I decided that I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to take care of everything. But when it happened, I wasn't happy. Like, I didn't feel fulfilled. And I understood that it was because I wanted to be the parent that I never received. And when I made that connection, I'm like, oh man, there's more unpacking. Because trust me, I've been to therapy about this for many, many years. It never really sat comfortably with me. Like, my therapist would say, oh, your mom was great. She was this and that. I'm like, but you don't see what she's lacking. And it came to a point where I had to move to a space of acceptance because she will never change. Me having the expectation or the want of her changing or even acknowledging the pain that she put upon all of us was causing me suffering. So I'm like, every day it's a struggle, but every day I remind myself, this is who she is. This is her soul path. It's not mine. And my soul path chose her as a mother for a reason. So it just came to a point of understanding, acceptance, and not really forgiveness, because to me, forgiveness means that I'm above somebody else. And I'm not forgiving what she's done, but I'm just accepting because I want to live a happy life. And I don't want to have that burden everything else in my life.
No, I can so relate. So relate. That acceptance part, I know is hard for a lot of people because especially if you don't, well, not if you don't, but depending on what your definition of acceptance is, because a lot of times people feel like if I accept it just means like, oh, like I'm giving them a pass. Even sometimes with the forgiveness, they think, oh, I'm giving them a pass. And I'm like, it's not about giving them a pass. It's, it is about accepting one because we can't change it. We can't go back and change like the past, right? But we can start where we're at right now and start to look at it a little differently. I like what you said about the forgiveness part too. That's interesting. That's really interesting. So I'm going to sit with that too. But I like that you say that because it can look like you're above someone, be like, I forgive you for that. Like, interesting. Exactly. Like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Come through. I love that. Yeah. And I also appreciate you saying that you're not healed, in that stuff with there, because I think that's so important. A lot of people, and I know some people, they run around and say like, oh, I'm healed. I'm healed. I'm healed. I'm healed. I'm like, well, the fact that you keep saying how many times you healed lets me know that you need a little more healing because kind of not really how it is. Because I tell people all the time, doing like shadow work, especially if it's about a mother wound or like a father wound, that shit is painful, can have you on your knees. And I know I'm not getting up from that place talking about, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed. I'm like, nah, I got to go a little deeper, because I can't get past a certain thing. So I do appreciate you. And I know my listeners appreciate you saying, look, I'm not, I went through acceptance and I'm feeling, looking in the, in this spot, but, not. So that.
Yeah. And for those people who believe that they're healed, they've only reached the top of the iceberg. They didn't dig deep enough. Because this life is all about finding truth and learning lessons. And one way we can learn lessons is through healing. And there's no one, I don't believe there's anyone who could say, I'm fully healed. None of these gurus. Like if they say they're fully healed, I don't trust you.
Facts.
I don't trust you.
Facts, facts, and facts. And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, that's why I share a lot of like my personal stuff, because I'm human too, you know, and I don't ever want people to look at me like everything is like perfect and stuff. It's like, no, I've just evolved a little bit more in a particular area than you have. And because I have, I'm now able to help you, you know, to help guide you through, you know, your journey and like your process. But that's it. But I'm human. I'm going through something now with my daughter being with her health. And, you know, I've had people, you know, send me messages because they heard me talk about it on like the podcast. And then someone was like so taken back. And when she sent me this message, she was just like, I just like look at you like, you know, like you're a celebrity and this stuff. Like, you're not human. Like, what do you mean this is going on? Like, what's happening? And I'm like, I had to step back a little bit and, you know, I had to evaluate myself and to make sure that that wasn't me putting off that type of, you know, that vibe of like that energy that I am. Because if so, then I need to go back to the drawing board and make sure that I'm not, because trust and believe, I get triggered as you know what about things. The difference is like now I'm in a place where I can say, wait a minute, why did that just trigger me? Like, whoa, I got mad work to do still. Dang it. Gosh. All right, but let me tackle this. Where before I would spiral, you know, out of control. So I tell people like, no, I still get triggered. I still have these things. I'm not fully healed. And I feel like to me, if I was fully healed, then my time on earth will be done. And I ain't ready. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Ready to hit that yet. Like, I'm like, nah, I'm in my second, half. So that's like, how I look at it in that sense too, where it's like, no, we need to go a little bit deeper. We all need to go deeper.
You said something very interesting about like the energy you're putting off. And I think it's not your energy. It's how society puts people on pedestals for us to revere and make them like this immortal God being, but not understanding that everybody is a freaking human. We poop, we pee, we have emotions, we break down, but the glossiness of it all makes it seem like it's so hard to achieve to be that person. And it's not. At the end of the day, we're all equal. We all have our specialties and we can all teach and learn from each other. So there's nothing about like your energy. It's just what people believe it is to be either on the media or a spiritual person, because they think, oh, I can't get to that level. But yeah, you can. You just have to do the inner work and look within yourself, because you have all the answers and within you.
No, I love that. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So that's why I said I'll be checking myself and I'm like, whoa, is this me? Or what? I've gotten into a nice space of that now, which by doing like the inner work that I can, check in with myself and say, wait a minute, is this me? Is this the energy that I'm putting off? Or like you said, or is this society? And that's how that individual person, was looking at it in, in that sense, because, you're right. It'll put you up on this pedestal and it's like this and it's that. And I'm like, oh, like that's just another human, like another human being. Like, so whatever it is that you're envious or you're loving about them, it's in you too. Like Exactly. It's in you too. So that's the beautiful thing about it. Like, man, I really like this chick, or I like this dude. Like, gosh, just something about him. Okay, well, that's something about him. It's in you. And it's highlighting it right now for you. So maybe explore that a little bit versus the other person. That's how I just be looking at it. I'll be like, I'm like, I'm not a hater. I'm just saying, I don't understand how people obsess over another human, like, being. It's just different. I would say that it's weird, but I probably got some listeners that really it's just different. It's just not, it's not like for me. And it's really just to highlight the greatness like in yourself. So, okay. So the mother wound, right? So the other part that got me too was the connection with food. So I was like, I need to hear this so I can just like reevaluate my life and see if there's, any connections and stuff. So can you just like talk to us a little bit about the connection between the mother wound and eating?
Yeah, definitely. So pretty much all of our behaviors are impacted by how we were raised. And as mothers, we have so much authority on our children's behaviors. It's crazy. Meaning, the way your mom spoke to you, for example, about food. I'll give you a little story about myself. When I was about 12 years old, I started gaining weight. my mom would look at me and she'd say, are you sure you want to eat that? And boom, that's ingrained in my psyche. But I didn't understand at that time is because she had her own body image issues that she just projected onto me. So just by trying to protect me from her own issues, she created issues within myself. And I started developing binge eating disorders. And you could see that modeling for so many other women or even men out there. So it's more like what they said to you and how they treated food affects how you have a relationship with food as well. So if you see yourself like maybe emotionally eating or binge eating, repressing your emotions and turning to food for comfort, ask yourself, is this you or is this behavior that you observed growing up from your mother that you just adopted yourself? Or is it what your mom said to you that caused this chain of events to occur and just stays in your psyche for I don't know how long? So it's really about their behaviors. But also some of the behaviors that they developed is actually in their DNA, because you could find the mother wound not only in modeling or behaviors, but also they go back generations. And when you have generational trauma, it's been proven that you can find that in your mitochondrial, in your cells, that carries over with your mom. So let's say that, I'll use me again. My family's from Haiti. They come from slaves. They have this lack mentality because they don't have the access to enough food. You're going to carry on that trauma from generation to generation to generation within your bloodline until there's that one person that's like, nah, this ain't it. What I want to do to heal this, that's when the healing begins. But that is just more of ancestral healing from the mother side as well.
Yeah, I can definitely see that even just in like in other areas and stuff too, of how that connection is. And then you're like, dang, I gotta change this. Change this. I mean, it's so tough. You know, I think about it now, like as a mom, and I have 4 kids. So the oldest is about to be 25 and then the youngest is 11. And I think about just this newly awakening to like life, you know, since 2018. Yeah, because my best friend passed in December of 2017. So 2018 is where it all really like hit me. And I remember saying to them one time, I'm like, dang, did I jack y'all up? Did I jack y'all up? Like, yikes, you know, with so many different things. And then also just from now, even understanding more with like our ancestors and seeing what's in that lineage, what's in that line, and where did this all, you know, really come from? And I can see that connection and stuff. And it's easy to allow it to have you resent the parent, you know, have a lot of anger. I wish it was this. I wish it was that, you know, even though we can't change anything. But the best thing for us to do is to heal it. Yes. Right? To heal it, to address it, to heal it, and just be like, okay, we want to change this for going forward. And especially if you have girls, if it's something of that sort. And then if you have boys, if it's something, you know, of that sort too, is to actually face it and really just heal it.
Yeah, definitely. The first step is to acknowledge that there's a problem. Because a lot of us, we're like, oh, we're cool. There's no problem here. But you're actually denying the actual problem. But once you realize there's something that needs to change in your life, start getting the ball rolling. Like try to figure out which modality may work best for you. For some people, it's therapy. Some people, it's yoga. Some people, it's somatics therapy. It just really depends on what works best for you to heal that wound. And the other thing I want to say is when we have mother wounds, a lot of times we want to confront the parent and tell them, why did you do this? And they probably answer, I don't know what you're talking about. So the one thing you must let go of is expectations. Like if you feel like confronting somebody over something that what they did, don't expect them to react in a loving and kind way because they may have repressed all those memories within themselves or create a reality that they just don't believe that they did anything wrong. So if you're going to go confront somebody, just do it for yourself. Just to let it out. Just let it out because having those expectations, man, that F everything up.
Yeah, seriously. I have people that, just throughout just talking to and stuff where they feel like, well, my mom or my dad or brother or whoever it is, like they just won't listen. They won't get it and they won't this and this and that. And I said, can you really imagine that if your healing was dependent on if another person was ready? I'm like, that would be really shitty. I know like this whole game and everything, the way it's been created, it can seem very unfair, but damn, that would be really, really messed up if the only way that I could heal is if you were ready to heal. God, nah, it's not rigged like that.
Right.
No, it's not. But, I agree with you. You have to drop that expectation and just do it for yourself, because if not, you're just letting yourself down. And they might not, you can hear like, it's so funny when like people are around and they tell the story and they be like, no, that's not what happened. That is not how it happened. Me and my son did a podcast and we were talking about him and he was saying stuff. And I was like, so antsy and waiting without cutting him up. I was like, no. I finally got to the point. I said, that is not what happened. Let me tell you, guys, let me tell y'all what happened, and it was just interesting. He was like, oh yeah, you're right. That is how it happened. We were just explaining of like something that, happened with him getting like recruited for D1 at college. But it just makes me think of like people when they're like, well, I was telling her this and she was like, that did not happen. And blah, blah, blah. And now they're in their feelings. And I'm like, it's her story. It's how she perceived it. It was her perspective of it. Like, this is your perspective. Who's to say who's right and who's to say who's wrong? Like, I'm like, we really can't. The world likes to do that. But how I'm going to say you're wrong for what you believe or how you seen it. But I'm saying like, I'm right. Like, it's just, we'll be here all day going back and forth in this sense. But what it is that when you said this, it then made me feel like this, right? Though that's a whole different ball game, because I'm just saying, based off of what you said, the way that I took it, I felt like you didn't care about me, or I felt like, is this? And they're really confused. Like, what do you mean? I don't care about you. And, but you know what I mean? So it's always going to be like a different sense. So yeah, you can confront them. But if I've had people who are like, I keep trying to have this conversation and just they're not ready, but that should not stop you. They're not ready. And that's okay. They might physically leave this earth and never be ready. And that's okay too.
You said something very interesting about how somebody might say something to you and it makes you feel a certain type of way. When that happens, that's your inner child being triggered. And that's when it's time for you to actually take a pause. I mean, feel your emotions, feel hurt, whatever. But then when you're ready, take a pause and like really do some investigation. Like, what belief do I have about myself to feel this way? Because I could guarantee you that belief is false and just a figment of your imagination that you're trying to hold on to make yourself feel like you're the victim. But when you actually do the work and you do connect with your inner child and ask them like, yo, what's up? What's going on here? And they, start like releasing whatever they're holding onto, you'll learn that people could talk to you sideways and you just look at them and you're like, and what? Like, I don't believe what you're saying, so I'm not triggered anymore. So you can say whatever you want and I don't care. That's the next step of healing.
Absolutely. I so agree. And that's why I was like, in the beginning when I was saying about how I'll just check myself on something. And it took a while to get there because it's so easy for me to check you and tell you about all the things that's going on with you. But to check myself, please, I'm perfect, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I'm perfect, yo. I don't got to check nothing. Y'all the ones with the problem, so it's hard to really check yourself. But like the more you do it, then you can instantly, as soon as you start to feel some type of way, like before I might be defensive and I might just be like, I'm done with these people, like, whatever. But now it's just like, I'll feel myself like the little girl in me is just like, yo, what is going on right now? But I'm like, don't worry, I got you in a little bit. Let's just get past this. You know what I'm saying? Then we about to have a conversation. I'll be like, okay, so what part of me believes what that person just said? Because clearly enough for it to trigger me, there has to be some form of belief that's deep down, that's inside there. And it's like, okay, so we need to have a conversation to say like, wait a minute, do you feel like, a failure? Or do you feel like whatever it is that the person said or did or didn't do that made you feel like, you see, exactly, nobody likes me. Nobody wants to be around me. Nobody wants to hang out with me. Nobody wants to partner with me because I'm not good enough in this. It's like, okay, so you do feel some type of way about, based off of whatever it is. So super, super important to just check yourself, and that's okay. And then to give the little girl, the little boy some reassurance, because you're right. It's false. It's not true. It's an illusion. There's a story attached somewhere.
Yes.
And I'm going to need you to change that story.
Definitely.
So I know for me, and I don't know if I talked about this, my listeners, y'all been following me. So I'm pretty much talking about everything. But like, I don't like to ask for help. I don't like to ask anybody for anything. Like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm not good, but I'm good.
Yeah.
On there. So just recently I had this real estate deal that I was dealing with, and it made me come all the way out of my comfort zone. And I was like, God, this ain't nothing but you, man. Oh, whatever. You know what I mean? I was just like so annoyed by it, because I knew that I was being forced to deal with my BS that I never hid and said, I don't like to ask anybody for anything. When I was 14 and my dad was back in my life, he literally said this in front of people. He said, my daughter doesn't have to ask anybody for anything. And I'm 14. And I was like, you damn right I don't. And I embodied that. And I made my life so much harder than it needed to be, because I was like, I ain't got to ask nobody for nothing. I'm good. I'm going to figure it out. But in actuality, it was that I was afraid to be rejected. So why would I put myself in a position to ask you for something for you to tell me no? Because if you tell me no, I'm going to be in my feelings. One, because I never ask anybody for anything. So if I'm asking you, I have an expectation that you need to give it to me, because it's really rare for me to do it. That's my own BS in there, right? Second, if you do say no, now I'm just rejected. So why would I put myself in a position to get rejected? I'll just struggle. That was a process my whole life. So I made my life a lot harder than it needed to be, because I was a one-woman show, and everything justified that belief. If, I did ask somebody to do something, or they were helping something and they did it wrong, meaning AKA they didn't do it the way that I would do it, I'm like, see, this is exactly why I don't ask somebody to do nothing for me. Like, this is exactly why I don't ask. So I kept validating and validating and validating. And it's so crazy, because it's like, wait a minute, hold up. So here I am, fast forward now to just recently, where I needed to get this funding for this deal. Back in the days, I would have said, screw it. I guess I'm just not meant to have it, because I'm not going to pick up the phone and call people and ask them for, hell no, I'm not doing that. No, and no. That's just dumb. Like, but I had to think about it, and I said, nah, I really want this, and I feel it. I know what spirit is doing right now. You're forcing me to get out of my own way for whatever else is to come. And I knew it. It was just everything in me knew that it was like, yo, you going to face your thing, or you just going to keep repeating in the same loop. And I'm like, nah, I'm over that now.
Right.
I'm over it now. So I had to do it. I was calling people on the phone, whatever way I communicate with them. If I communicate with you talking or texting or voice memo, whatever was like on brand for me and the person, I was hitting everybody up, and I was like, hey, I have this deal. This is what I'm putting myself out there. And no one said, no, I wouldn't do that for you. Everyone was like, oh, this is who I use. Oh, I wish I could. Now I can't, because I'm tied up in this. So there was no rejection. And by the time I got to like the third, I didn't care. I'm like, oh, hey, so I got this deal. Look, you can either fund it this way, like, or if you know someone, put some people. I even said, look, this is super uncomfortable for me. I'm in the stage of putting myself out there, because I know this is a part of my lesson. So, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I'm communicating. I even communicated like that with people, and it was cool, and it felt good. And I did end up getting it, but where it came from was so crazy, because I didn't even have to do any of that. Like, I was like, wait, what? I just went in this whole circle and reached out to people, clients and family and just friends, and just did all of that. And the person that I got it from was my immediate, okay, spirit, I hear you. So it was really just putting me in that position. And what I tell people all the time is, if you don't do these things on your own, the universe is going to force you, because it's a part of your growth. So if you get to that point that you've ignored it and the universe is forcing you, I know it's going to be tough. I know it may feel scary, but I promise you it's worth it. And it's just do it, because watch what you'll see is on that other side. And at that point, I just snatched my power back from the 14-year-old me that was like, you damn right, I ain't got to ask nobody for nothing. What I'm talking about at 14. Right. At 14. So yeah, that was the thing.
I just want to add one thing to it, because you said it has to be difficult. I like to argue against that. Because I think, or I believe that we make things difficult because of our mind.
Facts.
And all you got to do is ask Spirit, if this is the right thing for me, it will happen with ease and grace without any issues. But yeah, you're right, because I'm the same way. I don't like asking for help. My mom always said, oh, she never needs a man because she's all this and that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because I didn't have the help growing up. So yeah, I was afraid of rejection. But I realized recently, I'm like, asking for help is not so bad. And if somebody says no, it's not because they don't like me. It's because they actually can't do it. Or they're not the right person to help me. And I went to Sedona a couple of weeks back and I met this woman and she's like, you're in your head a lot. Like you try to fix every problem that you have. But what you need to do is simply ask Spirit, and Spirit will move mountains for you. But you got to ask. So even if you're too afraid to ask other people, if you have this personality type, ask Spirit. If it's for you, then it's going to come to you in the way it's supposed to come to you. See, the thing is, we have this thing about we want to be somewhere and it has to look a certain way. And if it doesn't happen in the time frame we want it to happen, we push. But that pushing and the insistence, that means it ain't for you. It's not for you. It's not the right time. And you're overlooking everything else that may be right for you because you want to look in a certain direction or a certain way. So if you just get out your own way and just freaking surrender and you're like, okay, fine, F it. Just let it be. Then whatever's supposed to come for you will come. Trust, it works. It really is so freaking simple, but it freaking works.
No, I love that. Thank you for that. And I definitely agree. It is like in our mind. So with this particular thing, the way it happened for me, I got 2 houses on the contract, and it was the way it happened. It was, I beat out mad people without having to do anything. So it was like eerie, like it was real eerie the way it happened. Like, yo, so like my agent / friend, she called me. She was like, I do not know what is going on, but I just got a call from the other agent at such and such street, and they accepted your offer. I'm like, let's go. Like 2 offers on the house at the same time. And the plans that I had for both of them, it was just great. Get all the way down to the wire. And then it drops through with something, just a miscommunication with like my private money person in the time frame and with them just being busy and just everything. It was not that big of a deal in the scope of things. But it happened while I was in the hospital with my daughter. So I was already dealing with that. And I was like, oh my God, now I got this to deal with. And I'm like, but Spirit, I got them too easy where it was competing with some other people, but I didn't have to keep raising and doing anything. It was so eerie. And I said, so you gave them to me really easy. I'm like, so I know that it's not that I'm not meant to have it because I didn't feel that. And I will go with my intuition over logic all day, every day. I was like, I don't have the funding. I only have one private. I'm new into real estate. This just started at the end of last year. I only have one private money person, and that was its own blessing and stuff. I'm like, yo, where I'm about to get money from both of these deals. At this point now, we're looking at like almost 500K, and I got to try to do this in like a week. I'm like, all right, okay, not going to freak out because at the end of the day, what's most important right now is my daughter. So, all right, trying to figure that out. So then once we got out of the hospital she got out of the hospital and we made it back here to Virginia because we were in Arizona when this happened, I was like, all right, I got to check in with myself. And it is. And I checked in and I said the same thing, like, Spirit, this is what's meant to be. I'm going to trust it. I'm not going to push back on any way. So, let me create some space so some solutions can drop in. So that was when I was like, okay, well, then I found I was able to get funding for the purchase, but not the rehab. I was able to get the funding, but I had to put a deposit down. Not a deposit. I'm over here making up stuff. My real estate people are over here making up shit. I had to put a down payment right? And it was going through a hard money. And this was my first time with a hard money person because I was using a private money and it was super easy. Didn't have to go in my pocket, all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But he was like, all right, we could do this, but you have to put 20%, whatever it was. I had to put like $51,000 down. He said, so we could do this. He said, I could do the deal and all, but you have to come to the table with 51,000. Let me know if you want to move forward. So I took a nice deep breath, checked in with myself, and I said, oh, absolutely. Let's move forward. I ain't had no 50 something $1,000. I didn't have no, I was like, yo, Spirit, but he told me, he said, well, I said, well, do you think you'll be able to close by the 31st? Because we've already pushed them back because of being in the hospital. And he was like, we absolutely can't do it by the 31st. The earliest I'll be able to do it is April 14th. And I was like, oh, gut punch. Like, there's no way they're going to hold, on this. So I just leaned in a little bit and I said, how do I feel about this? And I said, I still feel good. I wasn't forcing anything. It was just a feeling that I said, this still feels good. Maybe 30 minutes later, he sends me an email. He says, hey, we have some cancellations. We actually can. If you can get your attorney to get these documents in, we can close on the 31st. I was like, let's go. Still don't have no $51,000. But and that's when I just started hitting everybody up. And I was like, oh, you can do second position. But what it did was, I knew it was Spirit. I knew it was Spirit saying, you need to get out of your own way. How are you expecting anybody to help you in this stuff? They don't even know what you're doing. People don't even know into real estate. They don't even know any of that. So I was like, oh gosh, just the downloads I was getting. I was like, all right, let's do it. Well, then the other part of it was delivered through Spirit, because Spirit will deliver messages to anybody for you if you open to receiving. Well, my actual private money person, she said, I don't want you to look at it like you're asking people for help. She's like, they need your deals to feed their family. That's how they make their money. So if you don't come to them and say you have a deal and nobody comes because they're afraid to ask, they can't pay their bills. They can't feed their family. And I never looked at it like that, but my own trauma made me project it like, oh God, I'm just nagging them. I'm just calling these people. But they're actually, so many people were like, thank you so much for thinking about me. Like, keep me, now I know what you're doing. Like, keep me, I'm saying posted, or if I have something and I have things freed up. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. This is kind of cool now. And I can see it. So when you say it works, like, I'm co-signing on that because it does. Like, it really does. So,
I mean, I have a similar story. I'll tell you right quick. I was living in California, met my husband. He dragged me back to Maryland, kicking and screaming. I hate Maryland. But so during the pandemic, I applied to school in San Diego because I was trying so hard to go back. And my husband was unemployed at the time. And so he was looking for a job so we can move out there. Job after job after job after job. Rejection, rejection, rejection. He even applied to Alabama. I am not a Southern girl. So I was like, all right, let's move to Alabama. I just wanted to get the hell out of Maryland. And then one day he comes to me and he's like, I did a thing. I didn't tell you. And I'm like, oh God, what did you do? He's like, I applied to a job in Maryland. One job in Maryland. And he told me that he got the job. And even though I was so mad, I was like, Spirit, why did you do this to me? I can't believe it. You said I was going to go to California, but my husband has a job. And then what happened was I just felt, we're living at my in-laws' house. And I'm like, it's time for me to buy a house. And my husband looks at me. He's like, I just got this job. What you talking about buying a house? And I'm like, we're going to buy a house. Spirit said we're going to buy a house. So we're going to buy a house. A month after he gets the job, we start looking for houses. First house I really liked, it's like a historic home in downtown Frederick. It's like this podunk place here, but whatever. And the house is nice, but when we get to inspection, there's so many issues with the house. So I tell Spirit, if this is the house, don't let us break the contract. If this isn't the house, let's find a loophole. Loophole was found, broke the contract. The other house, another historic home. I really liked the home. It had a backyard. It had everything that we needed minus the garage. And the day they finally accepted our offer, our funding fell through. And we had a conventional loan. So we had to go get an FHA loan. The people rejected it. And I was like, oh my God, this was my house. I had plans for this place. And then I found like, okay, spirit, I give up. Whatever you want, I will do. But I really want to find this house because I'm tired of living in my in-laws' house. So we start looking at new builds. Well, right now I'm currently sitting in my brand new home. And I'm like, we had no clue. Like we had no funding, nada. And everything just fell into place just like that, just because I got out of my own way and then like surrendered completely.
Surrendered.
So for everybody who's like struggling so hard and you're like, I'm doing this, this, and this, how about you stop doing all that?
That part.
And just allow things to happen. Because when you allow things to happen, it may not be what you think that you want, but when you get it, like, oh, this is what even better and greater than what I expected for myself.
Absolutely. Congrats on the house.
Thank you.
I love that. But you're right. It's that part of stop doing those things. Create the space for it to drop in. And the more you do that, the more you'll start to see that you can just do it on your own. Now you're like, oh, okay, this is what's happening. Let me go ahead and surrender. A lot of my surrender is like, F it, I'm done. You're going to do what you want to do anyway, Spirit. So let me just get out the way. I really be having those type of conversations when I'm talking to Spirit. I'd be like, all right, whatever. Okay, I'm done. Okay. And then it'll just like, boom, like it'll just happen. And as much as I know this, I still fall into that foolishness. So much. I'll be like, I already know. I have proof of concept over and over and over. And the funniest like way. I remember there was one time I was like, man, I need money to get this taken care of. I'm like, I don't know where it's going to come from though. And this was before all this has been a little while. And I'm like, I can't remember exactly like how much like I needed or whatever, but I didn't see where it was coming from and that quick. And then that same day I got an email. And it was email from Stripe, like, because I use Stripe for my processing. And it said, oh, like, we've loved, like, your history with us and everything. And we just want to offer you a Stripe loan. And I just looked and I just started laughing. I was like, oh God, that's funny. Like, I get it. I would have never suspected that it would have came from there. I didn't even know they even offered that option.
Right.
It came right at the time. I know Square does because I used to, from years with my home care agency that Square does. But with Stripe, that's what I use for like, online and stuff. But I didn't know that they did capital and they did loans or any of that stuff. But it just came the same day that I was like, I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't see where it's going to come from, but I trust that it's going to come. And then I get that email and all I could do was laugh at this point. I'm like, yo, we're so magical if we just get out of our own way.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of our head, open ourselves up, to other perspectives, other ways. And we'll see all the miracles that happen. Like I was calling people like, look, I need like 55,000 for 9 months. This is what I'll do. Or you could fund the whole deal, depending on what it is. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then like, my son's dad said to me, he was like, wait, this is coming from the person who doesn't even like to ask anybody for a ride. I was like, right? I'm over here going off. I'm like, look, I need like 55K and I need it in 2 days. But it was just the act of calling people and telling people, what it is. And then the responses from people. And I'm like, yo, I really build some dope relationships with, clients and just people in general that they're all like, oh my God, I'm so excited. So then I did a post and I was like, this deal right here, I just closed on it. I said, this one hits different because it forced me to put myself out there, which I know like a lot of my listeners are afraid because a lot of them are clients and stuff too. They're afraid to put themselves out there because what are people going to think? Are people going to judge them because, oh, you're doing real estate, but I thought you did this. And that's on them. And I told them, I said, that's on the other person because they're limited in what they're thinking and stuff. But yeah, you can be multi. We're not meant to just do only one thing in that sense, but a lot of people are afraid to put themselves out there. I'll admit I'm one of them in that aspect of it because there's still that part of you is like, God, all these people, that are in real estate and they've been doing it for so long. And it's like, oh, like here come. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, nah, everybody starts, what I'm saying, like somewhere. So I have to catch the ego too and have a conversation because it's trying to keep me safe, but safe is an illusion.
Yeah, it is.
It's an illusion for all of us.
And it's really interesting that we stop ourselves from trying to reach the highest and best good because we're too afraid of what other people may think, what they think may think. And just think about that. You're not even sure they're thinking about it. And even if they are, how does that affect you? At the end of the day, it doesn't, because people could think crazy about you. But if you are secure within yourself, you don't care and you'll do what you have to do. But I'm just like you. I'm human. I had those moments too. Like the other day, I was sitting with my husband and I did a shadow work retreat back in October. And I sat there recently and I was looking at my Instagram feed and I was very emotional. I'm like, oh, snap. That shadow work retreat really did something. Because for months when I was starting my business, I'm a nutritionist by trade. So I was trying to keep the spirituality at bay and just be a nutritionist. But something in my soul was like, this does not feel right. Like, this is not who I am. But I was too worried of how people would perceive me, because growing up with a psychic mom, people make a lot of fun of you. Yeah. Right. And so I had that internalized, like, if I put myself out there, I'm not good enough, or people might judge me. But as the months have gone by, like right now I'm blonde. I was a brunette, but I was feel more comfortable as blonde. I completely changed everything up. I'm talking about woo-woo stuff on my website everywhere, because that is what spirit wants me to do. And not only that, but I got confirmation that it's true, because there was this woman called Danielle Page. She's an astrologer, amazing. And I've been trying for months to book her. She doesn't really do it that often anymore. And on last Monday, has been happening to be on IG, she jumps on and she's like, if you buy stars or whatever it is on IG, you'll get a free reading. So I was like, oh, it's time. I was the first person to do it. And usually nobody picks me. She picked me first. And when she was reading my birth chart, she read my life. But she was telling me pretty much that everything that I'm doing right now, without even me telling her, it's in my chart. And I'm like, spirit, you funny.
Funny, right? Right?
You're funny. You got jokes. Like, I'm over here torturing myself in my mind because I don't think I'm good enough, but I'm actually doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And even with this podcasting thing, spirit was telling me for months, podcast. But I never liked speaking out loud because my throat chakra was closed up. So I'm like, me talk? Nah. But spirit was like, girl, you better do it. And finally in January, I was like, fine, I'll listen. That's how I found my VA. And at first it was kind of slow because I don't think I was being my authentic self on my speaker sheet. And once I told her, let's change this up, boom, booking after booking after booking. Again, getting out your own way. Don't worry what other people think about you, because it doesn't matter. If you feel excitement and joy and it brings you happiness, that's all that really matters at the end of the day. No one else is going to care about your life. This is your life. You should live it.
Absolutely. I co-sign all of that. All of that. It is. And a lot of times I hear people will talk about like failure and stuff. And I'm just like, this is my belief. I don't believe that you can fail because it's your journey. I don't have the blueprint for like your journey. So if I'm sitting here judging you and I'm like, yo, you really failed at that podcasting thing, that shit's crazy. How am I saying that you fail when it's your journey? Like, it's your journey. It's my journey. I'm never going to fail. So I know they like to use that and stuff when they're speaking like motivational, and they're saying like failure, you need to fail. That's how you get this and this and this. I just don't look at it as failure, because I'm like, it's my journey. Like, I can't fail at something because it's my journey. Like, I might try something. I'm like, oh man, that didn't work out. That's cool. I get to pivot, but I didn't fail at it. It just wasn't thing for me. So, that's why I try to tell people, just my perspective of it. It's like, it's your journey. And then when you get those confirmations, you do laugh at spirit. We're like, oh, you really got jokes. Like, you got a random person sliding in my DM saying something I was just torturing myself about, but now they just like over. I'm like, okay, that's funny. But it's interesting, this journey that we're on and how we can allow another human being that's just as lost as we are to, dictate if we do something or not because we think they're going to judge us. But it really is true that the people that are judging and looking at stuff, they're the ones that aren't really doing anything.
Right.
Because the ones who are, they don't. And I'm like, I used to think it was so cliche, but I'm like, it's so true though. And so that's not who it is. I was looking at something on Instagram today and someone shared this post, and a toxic trait of mine is I like to read the comments until it irritates me. And I'm like, oh, what's wrong with people in the world? But I read the comments, and this one person commented and they was like, that's crazy. I live in, it was something like, I think he said something like it was in regards to someone being domestic violence and a person being murdered. And they was like, dang, that's crazy. I own a condo in the same building. Well, somebody went in and said, oh, so that's so distasteful that you had to come on here and tell people that you own a condo. And then it was just like other people were like, yeah, he was clapping back. He was like, so if I would have said I rent a condo in that building, that's crazy, you wouldn't have said anything. He was like, it's your mindset. He just kind of started going back, but it wasn't like, I was like, I agree. Like he wasn't being distasteful. He was just basically what he was saying was this hit close to home.
Right.
That's all that he was saying. And some people were coming to the defense and was like, all I got from that was that he was saying it hit, close. Someone even started talking about the place. Well, those are cheap places anyway. And this is horrible and that's horrible. And I was like, man, look at all of these people, like, really just projecting their own stuff. Now, had that been someone else who could purchase their own they're not saying that to you. They're not saying. So, really kind of think twice before you allow someone else to like dictate like your future and your journey and what you do if you're just afraid. And if you are worried, about what someone else is going to say, just use that as an indication for you to go within. Why am I so worried about this? Is there a story that's playing on loop in my subconscious mind when I was a kid? That when I went and did something and everybody made fun, well, let's change that story. Identify that versus allowing it to stop you from being, like you said, the best version of who you are. And now you're like afraid because of what other people are going to say.
Oh, I completely agree. 100%. I think it's crazy. It's really crazy how other people's projections really affect us. But it comes to a point where when you come to realize that all this projection has nothing to do with me. It's them. So you have that little barrier where it's like, okay, you can come at me sideways. I feel that as though you are just feeling what's insecure within yourself and you're trying to find ways to lash out. And that's it. And that's why I don't read comments anymore because it can get bad. It's so bad.
My time straight, I read comments. No, it is. Sometimes it makes me sad too. Like when I see like the comments and things that people say, I just say, man, this is how people are really thinking out here. And they're spreading this to other people. And how is that other person feeling because those people are saying this? And it makes me sad just for like the world. And then sometimes it makes me angry. And I'm like, oh my God, I should so respond right now to this. And like, I got time today. And then I'm like, I got to think about it a little bit. Do I really want to invite that into my life? Or do I want to continue doing what I do and just really putting it out there to people? Just be open to another perspective, do the inner work, and I say, I think I'll take that route right there. I'll go that route and just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I always got to be respectful of people's time, especially in like the evenings and all of that good stuff. But before we wrap this up, a couple of things. One, how can people find you?
They could find me on Instagram at moonlotus.co, TikTok at moonlotusco. And if they just want to look at my website, moonlotusco.com.
I love it. I love it. Love it. And how can we support you? Like, what do you have going on?
So for the next month of April, I'm doing free workshops of breathwork. The link is in my bio on all the platforms. And I'm going to start doing moon circles starting next month. So follow me and you'll get the latest information when it comes to that.
Oh, moon circles. I love it. I love it. I know when I was reading all this stuff, like on you, I was like, we're the same. I was like, friends after this. I was like, we're the same. So I love it. I love it. So wait, are you in Maryland or are
I'm in Maryland?
So the house was in Maryland. Like
the house was, so what's really funny? My mom's preacher, he's non-denominational. He's always been cool. He gets spirit all the time. When I moved back to Maryland, he looks at me and he's like, you're going to move out your in-laws' house. You're going to rent somewhere and then you're going to buy a house. And I looked at him. I'm like, you must be crazy. What the hell are you talking about? Like, no, I'm going to get out of here as ASAP. And it's exactly what he said happened. We rented a place, moved back into in-laws, and then bought a place. So I'm like, okay, obviously I know why we're here and we're, but I think our time in Maryland's coming to an end because the lessons that we're supposed to learn are almost done with. So I'm very grateful for the time here. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, they're beautiful memories. My daughter was born here. So there's great stuff that happened, but it's time to move on.
So do you think it's going to be to California?
Oh, yeah.
It's California.
Spirit already told me the plan. Like, it's definitely California. There's something about that energy over there. I mean, minus LA, but the energy over there is just, it hits different. It's completely different. So I'm ready to move.
I love it. Yeah, my daughter actually lives in LA. That's where I thought I was going to be in California because that was everything, all the downloads, everything from like 3 different readers. They don't know each other, but they're reading my energy. And I was cool with that. I went out there when I was doing some filming for the show that I was going to be doing. And everything was great. And then it shifted. It ended up being Arizona. And it was cool though. Yeah, it was super cool though, the way it happened. But I just knew it was going to be LA. And a lot of different energy was around, you don't have to worry about people like judging you or thinking or the woo woo and all that stuff. You just out there. Like they out there. Like this is just every day. Like, so it is a whole different like vibe out there. And now when I think about, I would not live in LA. This traffic is insane. When I go out there, I'm like, it's insane. I can't do this. My nerves. But yeah, it ended up shifting and being Arizona. And I remember walking in my neighborhood at the time in Virginia. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, Spirit, I'm doing this. I am open to moving. I said, so put it in my path where I can best serve and be served. Yes. And then just like that, Arizona opened up and boom, less than 2 months later, we were in the car driving there and taking that journey. And I was like, okay, like, where did this come from? But that's a part of the surrender. I said, okay, I'm willing to go. I'm willing to move. I thought it was a little interesting because it was already in my head that it was California, but there was something in me that said, I'm ready to go wherever I can best serve and be served, in the sense, and then it ended up being Arizona. So I'm like, okay.
Which part of Arizona?
Scottsdale. So I'm between both. Right now I'm in Richmond, Virginia. So I travel between both, but yeah, Scottsdale is where we ended up. So yeah. So it was like interesting.
Well, I love that. I totally love that. That resonates with me. And I'm like, come on, Spirit. I'd be that quick too.
Yeah. It's what you're right. You put it out there and you're definitely gonna get it. So yeah. But this has been such a great conversation. You're so easy to talk to. I know my listeners are gonna love it and all that good stuff. And then you're about to put these workshops out of breath work. So I love that. So everyone listening, make sure that that they follow you. And, and sign up for that and then, be able to just, be in your space and connect and see, how you're able to help them along on their journey.
Yeah. And I look forward to seeing all of you in my breath workshop. And if you missed the ones in April, there'll be more. Trust me.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to Seeing with Your Soul. If something you heard resonated with you, feel free to rate, review, and share with others. If you are looking to go deeper, you can connect with Tisha Michelle on Instagram at Mindset Slayer or visit www.healingalignedglow.com.